Just as with strike aircraft, there are many different kinds of bombers. But this time the differences are even more striking. The machines of this type are divided into two big groups: tactical or frontline bombers and strategic bombers. And these are vastly different. The former are designed to destroy targets at shorter ranges, typically near the troops. As a rule, these are twin-engine aircraft, although there were some outfitted with three engines, especially during the emergence of the first monoplane aircraft. Tactical bombers won't break any records with their performance at high altitudes, and they don't go far, but they perform really well at mid to low altitudes, and sometimes have dive bombing capabilities. When it comes to single-engine tactical bombers like the Su-2, the SBD Dauntless, or the U-87, they can be almost indistinguishable from attack aircraft. Strategic bombers like the B-17, the PE-8, and the Heinkel HE-177, the Lancaster, or the Japanese Renchan typically have four engines. They are designed for high altitudes. They aim to destroy strategic targets like factories, infrastructure, and cities, or enemy troops en masse. Despite the numerous differences in the way two classes operate, there are some common mistakes that will get you back to the hangar on any bomber, regardless of the type. The biggest mistake: you fall prey to survivorship bias. It only takes a single good burst to turn your bird into a ball of flame. Yeah, we all heard about bombers returning to their bases on a wing and a prayer, many times. And that's something that really did happen a few times. In fact, you have to be incredibly lucky to pull off something like that. In most cases, even a flying fortress has to land for repairs after a few good hits. You should never fully expose yourself. In the eyes of an enemy fighter, you are basically a flying piñata. And if an enemy fighter gets to the firing distance, you are most likely done. Don't try to outmaneuver enemy fighters, or to make yourself a difficult target. This might work on a tactical bomber under some circumstances, but on a strategic bomber, all these frantic moves will only make you easier to hunt. Diving isn't much of an option either. A fighter will catch up with you anyway. If your bird doesn't fall apart on its own, that is. In fact, there are only four means of fending off enemy fighters that you have at your disposal: high altitude, defensive armaments, flying in a defensive formation, and Allied fighter aircraft. That's where most of the other mistakes come from. Mistake number 2. You drop altitude. If you want to live, don't. And do whatever it takes to stay up high. Go around the area of confrontation to climb higher, and to allow Allied fighters to climb with you, or to allow them to drag the fight to lower altitudes away from you. Mistake number 3. You overestimate your gunners. It's just like in real life. The idea is not to shoot an enemy down. It's to drive them away, thus preventing them from reaching the firing distance. That's without even mentioning the fact that your gunners might not have the skills necessary to do their job well. And that's hardly surprising, really. Imagine that you are given an MG, 100 bullets, and then asked to hit a plastic bottle from half a kilometer away. Spoiler: even if you're a good shot, you probably won't do well. And the challenge your gunners face is even tougher. Mistake number 4. You are flying out of formation. At the start of the match, bomber pilots often decide who's going to bomb what, and then split. This is unacceptable. A lone bomber is easy prey for enemy fighters, and no gunners will save you, even the most experienced ones. It pays to learn how to work as a team and cover each other. Get used to flying in formation. A combined firepower of a few turrets is nothing to sneeze at. This way, you will have a much better chance of destroying your designated targets. Stay in formation even after your last drop. That's when it's your turn to cover others. When all of you are done, return for resupply. And finally, mistake number 5. You go into battle without an escort of fighters. That's an easy one. The worst enemy of a fighter is just another fighter. Fly with friends or ask your random teammates for help. It's no use appealing to anyone's conscience. Just remind them what a nice target you are in the eyes of enemy fighter pilots. There will be opponents to fight, that's a fact. Hope this helps. See you in battle.